Hello, I'm Steve Gambardella, and I'm here to regularly upload videos that take some of the most interesting ideas from the history of philosophy and take some of those most interesting ideas and make them clear, concise, and relatable to your everyday life, so that you can use those ideas to improve your life and make the most out of our time on this world. Today I'm going to talk about an idea from this book. This is The Joyous Science by Friedrich Nietzsche. And this book is a really important book in the kind of Nietzsche canon of books. Nietzsche was an incredibly prolific writer, but some of his books were better than others, and I think this one's really important. It came at a very important time of his life. It was published in 1882, just a year before he published what many people believe to be his magnum opus, which is Thus Spoke Zarathustra, the philosophical novel. But many of the ideas in Thus Spoke Zarathustra actually appeared in this book first, The Joyous Science. And one of those ideas is eternal recurrence. And eternal recurrence is Nietzsche's attempt to try to put across a new kind of morality, a new ethics, to build a new ethics from what he believed to be the ruins of religious ethics. And when I say that, I don't mean that Nietzsche was kind of celebrating the end of religion. Nietzsche was actually really worried and concerned about nihilism. Nihilism, he believed, nihilism's a belief in nothing at all. And Nietzsche believed that nihilism was a real danger and threat to Western society in particular, as religion began to break down in the industrialized societies of the West. So Nietzsche was deeply concerned, and in many ways he anticipated many of the problems that we came across in the 20th century with the birth of fascism and communism and these kind of secular attempts to give us meaning and reason and new moralities based on these secular principles that really led us to, as a human race, led us to some really dark places. So Nietzsche's attempt to grapple with nihilism in the absence, in the kind of breakdown of religious morality, led him to ideas like eternal recurrence. And when Nietzsche talks about eternal recurrence, he doesn't mean resurrection. He doesn't mean the transmigration of souls where we're reborn over and over again for eternity. What he means is that the existence that's playing out now will recur eternally. So everything that I'm doing now, everything that happens now, will happen again. And Nietzsche's not literally saying that he believes that will come to be, that my life will literally repeat over and over again. But he wants us to think about it. Eternal recurrence is part parable and part thought experiment about morality. And the challenge is this: every action that you undertake, everything you do and achieve in your life, would you wish that to be repeated again and again and again in exactly the same way for eternity? Is that something that you would be comfortable with? Would you celebrate the idea of the life you're living right now, the achievements you've accomplished within that life are repeated over and over again? Now, in the back of Nietzsche's mind is the religious morality of eternal life in reward for good deeds, right? So in traditional religious thinking, there's the idea that if you do good deeds, you will be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. Now, Nietzsche's not necessarily dismissing that. Like I think anyone who's watching this video who has a religious disposition please don't think of this as necessarily an attack on religion. It's more about putting an idea across that's an alternative idea for those of us who are secular minded, who do not follow a religion, or who are lapsed from religion. So Nietzsche's giving this idea that, are we confident enough in what we've achieved in our life, in what we're doing with our lives, that it would be repeated over and over and over? So rather than this idea of eternal life, like this idea of living an eternal life in blissful paradise, he gives us a different kind of eternity, an eternity of the repetition of your mortal, limited life, repeated over and over again. Nietzsche thought that, the reward of paradise, the kind of idea that you would be rewarded in paradise for good deeds, would lead us to a disingenuous morality, in that people are only doing good things because they're motivated by the reward of being given eternal life in paradise. And that, to Nietzsche, is disingenuous. You should do good deeds. You should live a good life purely because you want to be a good person. And that's where eternal recurrence is a really interesting and powerful concept, because it asks us to confront our own actions with the idea of, would you repeat that action over and over and over again for the eternity of existence? It's a really powerful passage. It's in section 341 of book 4 in The Joy of Science. I've also written a really detailed explanation of the concept on the link below. If you click on that link and follow it to my Medium account, I give a much deeper exposition of Nietzsche's idea. I really hope that this idea is helpful to think about, to consider. I hope it gets you thinking throughout the day. Thank you so much for your time. Please like and subscribe, whatever it is the YouTube algorithm wants you to do. I would really appreciate that, because more videos are coming. Thank you very much.